Hey, yo, GM, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to Phase Live. Going to be an absolute banger this week. We've got Digi from Eyekon joining us. Digi, what's good, brother? How you doing, man?
Yo, how we doing? Lovely to be here, James. I see. Yeah, we're rocking it this week. We're going to talk about some very, very fun and close to home topics. And yeah, I think it's about time that we hopped on with the lads and we just waxed lyrical.
Good shit, brother. So nice to have a fellow South African on the show. It's been a minute since I saw you in person, but yeah, stoked to have you on, man.
Been hibernating, been cooking up some things,
Good stuff.
Trying to be that rising tide that lifts all boats. I'm plotting on your rise, plotting on all the bros' rises.
Appreciate you, man. And of course, I've got my awesome co-host, Gotto, who's joining us as well. You can see him rocking the Eyekon hoodie there at the bottom. Gotto, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, bro. Doing really good. I got a matcha ready to go. We're on stream with the homie, so cannot complain.
Good stuff, man. Oh, look at that. Smashing the monies there.
Zero sugar, We're on a health arc. We're on many arcs. We're maxing everything: distribution, health, life, money.
Solana maxing.
Yeah, that too.
Good, man. Well, great to have you on, man. I think maybe to start off with, you can just give us a quick introduction. Who is Digi? How long have you been in the space for? What got you into crypto? Tell us your story.
Oh, bro, these are the hardest questions. We can talk about anything for hours, but talking about me, that's the rough part. So yeah, Digi, as some of you know, as some of you don't, have been in the space now for too long. I think it's about 5 years now. Been through a couple of these cycles, a couple ups, couple downs, couple summers, couple winters. And what got me into crypto? I mean, I've told the story a couple of times, and I'll give you the short version. But after coming out of rehab, one of my best friends went to go visit him, and he pulled up his phone and he was showing me these weird pictures on Twitter, these weird cartoon images. And I said, well, what is this? Like, what are you trying to show me right now? And he said, these are called NFTs. And that was the kind of dipping the toe in. A little bit more background there. He was entering NFT giveaways back in I think it was 21, 22, somewhere around there. And made a Twitter account, got on there as well, and won what was it called? It was a Dr. Frankenpunk or something. It was an NFT that was actually worth something, and I did not have the money in ETH to sell it.
Oh my god!
So I had won this NFT that it was there and it was worth something, bro. I just came out of rehab. I think I had a job at the time, but bro, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together at that time, bro. And I saw this NFT worth dollars, a certain amount of dollars, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And yeah, that was my kind of initial, entrance into crypto, and since then, been unemployable since.
I guess that's it, man. Once you kind of dip your toe in, you just get ripped in, and you there's no escaping the vortex that is crypto.
Not at all.
Dude, there's no way I could ever go back to working a Web 2 job.
Fuck that.
No
way.
No, bro, absolutely not. We're going to kind of jump into the Eyekon stuff, but this in management, we talk about this all the time. I, as a person and as a personality and as an entity, unemployed and unemployable. Bro, there is no way I could go back to answering to someone, having to clock in and stuff like that. I just couldn't do it. There would be HR would be both my best friend and worst enemy, because there would be domestic violence in the workplace.
Oh my word, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fun industry to be in, and I think if you surround yourself with the right people, it's one of the best, most amazing spaces to be in, especially when you get to link up with people IRL. That's something that's truly special. Breakpoint, shout out to all of the boys at Accelerate right now. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty jealous.
Bro, big FOMO. Big FOMO. We got a bunch of creators out there. Look like a great time.
It does look good. I must say the Soul Clay booth in particular is looking super, super nice. And Seb looks like he's already breaking his back over at Reposa. So stoked for him.
Bro, huge news out of Reposa yesterday. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Those boys have just been healed to the grindstone for years, so couldn't give them more flowers.
Absolutely, man. I actually bought my first cup yesterday. I found one that I really liked, and I was like, it's time to pull the trigger and support the bros.
Let's go. Bro, I still have all the ones I minted. I think I've got like 30, 40 something sitting. Yeah. They've just been doing their thing.
Nice, man.
Dude,
yeah, I love the
I don't think I've ever bought more NFTs than cups. I think probably like over 50, something like that now. But dude, wow. I ordered some Reposa actually. This is like a little quick side quest, but dude, and UPS tried to drop it off or whatever, and I guess I wasn't home, and so they left a note, and they want me to pay $145 in duties for 4 cans of cold brew coffee.
What? That's insane.
Keep the coffee, bro. Keep the coffee.
Yeah,
you're doing your part. You're doing your part to get Reposa in the hands of people that need it.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. $145.
Dude, insane. Yeah, I don't know if it's like tariff issue or what, but it's nuts, dude. Never seen that.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, whilst we're still kind of loosely on the topic of NFTs, Digi, I know you've had many different PFPs over the years. Which one has been your favorite? And explain the current one. Because I know you've had a Tayo. You had a Tayo for a bit. I think you might have had an SMB at one point.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, I took the jacket off. I was wearing my monkey doll jacket earlier, and it's got my monkey on the arm. It was just a bit. It was a bit too warm in here. Yeah. I mean, going back, the Tayo Robotics was kind of the first arc. I had this hierarchy of like NFTs when they were a very big thing. I had this hierarchy of where I wanted to be, and that was like certain milestones. So the first one I got, it was the Tayo baby or the mini whatever, the infant. Yeah. Yes. Flipped up the infant into the big one, the Gen 1. Rocked that for a long time. Bought my first SMB after that, became my profile picture. The next one was my dead king.
Yes.
Which king was
that? That was a while.
Yeah. I've still got my king. Shout out the kings there. It was the king. Then I think I had a lad as well. I rocked one of the Galaxy lads for a while. Went back to the SMB. And then I think after that, I've just had these kind of obscure, I had like, the kind of Retardio, the Nicole.
You had that hidden PFP for a minute.
Yeah. That was Jordan's thing. Rocked that for a while. And then, just rocked kind of some custom art that people had made for me in kind of this different likenesses. And then, as of late, I've been wearing the blue dude with a suit, it's Dr. Manhattan. That kind of all kicked off when I kind of went on this delusional optimist arc. There's that picture of him. He's just kind of standing with his back to the camera, per se. Yes. And he's just kind of looking up into the stars. And this one that I'm rocking now, actually, Halloween made it for me. So he made like a crisp, nice version of the Dr. Manhattan, and that's currently what I'm rocking.
Sick. Yeah, I love it, man. I love the new PFP. I think it's very cool. The character is dope. All right. Let's move over and we can start chatting a little bit about Eyekon. So obviously Eyekon is your business or
it is
company.
Indeed.
Tell us both a little bit about what's that?
No, I said it's both of those, as well as my second family, bro.
There we go.
So just quickly before we kind of get into what it is. So one of the creators will do something. They'll do something cool. They'll have a post that pops off. They'll get like a new partnership or something. And then it's just me, Orange, and Pat sitting in the chat like very, very proud dads. And it's very, very wholesome. Listen, I think out of the three of us, I'm definitely the one that flies off the handle. If any of the creators are in the chat, they'll know I often call back this shotgun, and I say, if you guys don't listen, I'm gonna have to get the shotgun out, amongst other things. There's Pat. I think out of the three of us, I'm definitely the one that goes scorched earth the most. I think it's just because I'm quite a passionate person. Did you be proliferating? Oh, I see Pat in the chat. But yeah, man, kind of going into Eyekon, it's been a hell of a journey. It's been a long journey. A little bit of background on Eyekon, and previously, if anyone has been here long enough, if they've survived all of these treacherous, cycles, Eyekon started as Homies DAO, which was just a community, just a Discord server, bro. It was literally just a Discord. That is where, fast forward to where we are today, that is where we started, with the vision of simply assisting people on their kind of crypto journey, because myself and Orange had a very, very tough time navigating and traversing all of the trials and tribulations that crypto has to offer, and hit our head on every low-hanging branch that was available, as well as several stop signs, and going through a couple of windows. But yeah, that's kind of where Eyekon started. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 years now since that Discord got opened, and Eyekon today is very different from Homies DAO back then.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit more about what it looks like today, what you guys do, what your main kind of focus is, and maybe mention some of the projects that you've worked with over the past couple of years.
Yeah, of course. So what Eyekon is today is kind of a GTM shop, as well as a content creator agency. That is kind of where our two focuses lie. GTM is in go-to-market. That is helping a project go from 0 to 1. Kind of whatever that entails. A bit further back, we did kind of vend full stack services, and kind of pivoted away from that over probably about a year and a half ago, and kind of focused solely on the creators. So on the creator side, I think we've got about 75 content creators there. Just to mention that I don't say KOLs, because it's not these it's not these hyperinflated kind of Twitter accounts. There's been a lot of talk about KOLs, and I often get called one as well. I mean, I guess it is what it is. But regarding our content creators, going from grassroots up to, I think I'm kind of at the top there with regards to numbers and stuff like that, like follower count and things of that nature. But what we try and focus on is cultivating talent and cultivating potential. Again, with some other agencies and some of these other kind of marketing distribution funnels and things of that nature, let's just call them agencies. They kind of focus on the cream of the crop. You grab 5 very good looking accounts, very big accounts that get quite good engagement, and kind of push those accounts even further. Something that we have tried to, and something that we pride ourselves on, is trying to, not just billboard these people that are already established, but kind of bring in the new generation and cultivate that, and give small guys a space to kind of grow into what these big guys are. And that's something that we've really, really tried to focus on. So, I mean, if you've seen some of our creators, some not the biggest, don't have the biggest accounts, don't have the most followers, but they're there, they're grinding, they're hungry. And I mean, I guess we'll kind of dig into it a little bit later, but I think the difference there is vanity metrics versus conversions. And something that we've seen over an extended period of time is that these accounts, these smaller guys, I don't want to say small guys, but these accounts that are a bit smaller than your average KOL, seem to convert better when they have kind of built up a personal community,
For sure.
an audience of real people and not just bots or these kind of AR farms or whatever they're doing on Twitter now, bro. Like, so yeah, I mean, you can check the numbers, you can check the stats, but something that we've seen internally is that these kind of, let's call them macros, let's call them micro KOLs. They seem to convert a lot better than these kind of super, super big KOLs.
Yeah, and obviously your ROI is going to be better as well, because instead of spending a couple $1,000s on one person, you're hitting like different audiences with like multiple different creators, and you're supporting smaller creators and helping them grow their brands at the same time. So it's like a double win, right?
100%. I mean, this is definitely something that we've seen as a problem, let's just say in the marketing and kind of distribution sector of what we are doing in crypto, is that you scroll your timeline. I guarantee you'll see 1 of 10 kind of big KOLs with a paid promotion every single day. Something that we've seen is that these companies, one thing I will say kind of on the back end is a lot of the rosters across agencies are shared. So if a client comes to one, kind of all these rosters are given. So that's why you kind of see these big guys always on deals. But I think one of the biggest problems that we've seen is that all of this deal flow and kind of all of the onus is put on like 10 accounts. And I'm sure if we wanted to name some, we could name some, but let's rather not. But every day, I'm sure you'll see one of them with a paid promotion. And these companies are spending, I mean, you were saying a couple $1,000s, bro. Some of these KOLs be costing a lot of money, bro. A lot of money. But yeah, companies tend to kind of go or lean towards or are pushed towards the same kind of set of people. And I don't know, at least in my opinion, when these, and because I came up with a bunch of these people as well, I love them. Game is game, get your money. That's not what I'm saying here at all. Like, I don't think the problem is with the creators. I think the problem is kind of with the businesses. But if everyone is going to the same 10 people, the motion of those 10 people kind of gets diminished, because every day there's a paid promotion. Every day there's something new that they're kind of pushing onto people. And the kind of, what is the word that I was looking for? The efficacy of those paid promotions, albeit they get good engagement, they get seen by a lot of people, I don't know if they hit the same, because it's just the same people. It's the same kind of incestuous group that, not group, but there's like
cohort.
Bro, there's a handful of people that are getting all the deals. And I mean, you can see that in one way, you can see it in another. I don't think it's very, very good. Some feedback that we've gotten at Eyekon before is that companies have kind of tried that route, not seen the best ROI, and then have come, just like you were saying, to use more smaller people, obviously that cost a hell of a lot less, and are finding better results kind of through that sort of campaign. But I guess, it definitely is just different for everyone. Everyone's looking for something different. If you're looking for conversions, if you're looking for just brand awareness, there's a personal group that can definitely help you. But yeah, I do think that's a current problem that I see in the market at the moment, is that everyone these kind of 10 people get all the deal flow. Everyone else is kind of not getting much. And yeah, the efficacy of those paid promotions is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Okay. And obviously, everyone talks about like KOLs. What actually works versus what's just burning money? I know you kind of spoke to that now, but what would you say is like the best? Obviously, you're going to have different strategies for different companies, but what would you say is like the best approach to like creator-led marketing in the kind of current environment that we're in?
So yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. Obviously, it differs from situation to situation, and obviously just depending on what the company is kind of looking for. But something that we've seen that is very, very useful to companies is a creator that not only has a presence, but has community backing up. And I know I kind of spoke about that a little bit earlier, but personal community. And what I mean by that is there's a couple of different ways. I'm sure you've seen a lot of the kind of bigger accounts on Twitter. Really, there was a stage where everyone was really pushing telegrams. That was more so for meme coins and stuff like that.
Yes.
But having a telegram of, say 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people that really, really ride for you as a person, and being able to include that in a like promotional or campaign or things like that, especially when you're looking for conversions, when you're looking for signups, when you're looking for things of that nature, that kind of personal community has been a very, very big thing that we've been seeing since probably since last year, but something that we started talking about heavily at the beginning of the year, kind of cultivating personal community as well as kind of brand community. And secondly, something else that we've been seeing, and you see this quite a lot in the kind of AI and emerging tech side of things. You're starting to see it a bit more in crypto now, is not a hard shill. I think the days of hard shill are dead, bro. I'm trying to show you this because it's cool and this X, Y, and Z. I think something that really is taking root now is being able to include, these partners and stuff in content that you're already making, and kind of filter it into your personality as an online creator. I'll give you an example. So, been approached by a couple of companies for ad space in some of my articles. My articles have nothing to do with crypto. They have nothing to do with any kind of sector in itself. Mostly just, talking about life, talking about the things that I think are cool, talking about game theory, talking about these obscure kind of things, have nothing to do with any particular niche or industry or anything. Broad stroke. A lot of people can kind of relate to it or connect to it or simply understand it. I've been getting an influx of kind of paid deals looking for ad space on content like that, because it's not invasive. It's not this, go buy this is why, or go look at this is why. It's you've clicked on a piece of content because you want to read it, and you kind of go through and there's something, okay, cool, this kind of relates to the content or kind of relates to the topic of conversation of this. And I think that's another big thing. Thirdly, I think these, and again, just kind of circling back to what we spoke to earlier, micro KOLs, and kind of these micro KOL campaigns. This is more so just kind of brand awareness and reach. Quote retweets do very, very well in the current algorithm. So on an announcement, get 20, 30 people, quote retweet with something that you think is cool from this announcement, included in something, personal with yourself. Obviously, it depends on the company. But we've seen a lot of efficacy in kind of campaigns like that, where it's more of a shotgun approach and not a sniper per se.
Right. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I think one of the biggest things you kind of raised there was the whole, talking about how someone would want to put something in just like an organic kind of article that you've just written about life or whatever it might be. I think that definitely like hits harder. And I think also like anyone speaking about a specific product, if they're talking about the product because they genuinely believe in the thing that they're talking about, that always hits way more harder and has way better conversions and impact than someone who's like, hey, go check out this product. By the way, I'm getting paid to talk about it. Just for example, like if I had to talk about Solana, I could talk about Solana all day, every day for the next 5 years, because I love Solana. I believe in Solana. I think it's the best fucking blockchain that exists. It's fast, it's cheap, and there's so much to talk about. The ecosystem is great. So many cool builders, blah, blah, blah. So it's a topic that I like talking about. And if I was ever paid to talk about Solana, well, great. Not that that would happen, but
No, never say never. That's not very delusionally optimistic of you.
I think
so
I'd
maybe
agree.
Looks like we've got to dig into some of these things. You ain't been reading the articles, but to touch on your point, you can always tell when there is, I don't want to say passion, but when there is a genuine interest in a product or a service or something of that nature, when someone is talking about it. There is definitely a disconnect. I don't think we'll stop seeing it, because you as a person are not going to love every product. You're not going to love every service. You're not going to love everything. And as a content creator, yes, you have the option to say yes or no to a deal. Obviously, do your due diligence and stuff like that. But there will definitely be some products that you do kind of put forward that, you're not to say you're the biggest fan of, but you don't have a passion for that. But the ones that come around where you do have a passion, where there is genuine interest, where there is, where you are using it, those I think are the most impactful. And they also come, they flow off the tongue easier. If anyone's kind of watching or listening to this and you've ever had kind of a paid promotion or a partnership or collaboration with someone that you really, really love, so similar to what Chris just said, if Solana hit up my boy. But there is a genuine passion. The words just flow easier. The cadence of how you're talking about it is different. There's a passion there. There's a connection between you and the product or the service or the team or anything like that. And it really does carry on or carry a lot further than one that lacks that.
Absolutely.
I think we're like so far into the space too that like me as like a reader, I'm going to be more intrigued and connect with something that you're talking about as like a story or like your opinion or whatever, like your own take on it, even if it has that paid partnership on it, rather than just a straight up show. Because we've all seen it. You've seen it for the last 4 or 5 years, right? And it's not going to intrigue you anymore. It's just like a bunch of bullshit, right?
You've seen every type of show. We've seen, obviously now with the paid promotions tag, you're seeing a lot more disclosure, but you've seen the undisclosed, you've seen the disclosed, you've seen the good, you've seen the bad, you've seen the ugly. You've seen a lot of these things. So you have to, for anyone that is either an aspiring creator, someone that is getting paid partnerships or that aims to kind of get those, one thing I'll say to you is the content of what you're talking about matters a lot less than the delivery and the execution. If you can get good at one thing, and this kind of proliferates out of just crypto, out of marketing and stuff like that. If you can get very, very good at storytelling and being able to take a person on a journey from 0 to 1, I think you will find a lot more success in a lot of your endeavors going forward, because that is, I think, one of the most undervalued skills, especially in today with the rise of AI, with all of these things. If you're able to take something that is rather complex, a product, a service, an idea, anything like that, and be able to take a person on the journey from 0 to 1 of that in a digestible way and in a way that is easy to understand, you will be leaps and bounds ahead of your competition.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree with you on that. Gotta, I actually wanted to ask you quickly. I know that you've obviously you're on the Eyekon roster as well, so I figured it's worth asking you. Have you been working on any campaigns recently? And if so, which has been kind of your favorite? Because I know you've been posting about a few different things of late. And there was one in particular I wanted to ask you about, but I don't know if I should bring it up or if you'll just bring it up naturally without me saying it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what it is that you're talking about, but yeah, man. I've been in Eyekon for, I don't even know. I want to say like 2 or 3 years, something like that.
Wow.
I think I met
furniture in there now. Furniture.
Yeah. Again, dusty. I talked to Orange like back in 22 because I think project that I was working with at the time was going to be looking for a bit of advising, and I think that's kind of where Eyekon was at the time. And so that was like my first intro to Orange. And then I met Digi in Amsterdam a few breakpoints ago. Yeah, and been on Eyekon ever since. But no, I mean, I won't get into like personal deals too much, but I think like the market is marketing. I think like obviously deal flow is definitely less than it was last year for sure, but it's still out there. It's 100% still out there, and yeah, I think it's just about like positioning yourself as like somebody unique to be able to get that deal flow nowadays. I don't think it's flowing to just anybody. So I think that covers your question without getting. I don't know what you were talking about specifics, but
it's
Can
fine.
I
I'll message you in private.
Can I hop in off the back?
Go for it.
I'm gonna the back of that.
I'll message you in private chat, Godo.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I mean, just kind of hopping off the back of that, I think Godo's 100% correct. I think when the market was very, very frothy, obviously marketing dollars were flowing a lot easier. Obviously for the last, probably majority of this year and the end of last year, things have definitely been a lot slower. But something that we've kind of been digging into there. I know we kind of spoke about, we spoke about Solana, we spoke about crypto quite a lot. Something that we have been looking at and doing a lot of deep diving into is the world of kind of venture capital, raises and stuff like that. If you follow the Eyekon account, you've seen a couple of the articles have been very VC focused, have been kind of distribution funnels and things of that nature focused. So yeah, I mean, as well as being, kind of a crypto, GTM studio and firm, something that we very much are quite well positioned in, let me just say that, as of right now, is kind of the world of AI and emerging tech, which, crypto kind of falls into. So yeah, I mean, there are different avenues that we are exploring, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing a bit more of that coming quite soon. Got some
dropping a bit of sneaky alpha there.
Yeah. I mean, I got to phrase it perfectly. I think, and just kind of going back to what I said, you see constant deal flow from a couple of accounts. They are kind of, they'll keep getting deal flow. That's just how it is currently. But for kind of the wider content creator, I think it's been very, very difficult as of late with regards to trying to secure some of those marketing dollars. And I think Godo kind of put it in a very, very good way. Something I think he's heard me say about 732 times in our Eyekon weeklies is, as a creator, making content is not enough anymore. You have to make yourself as attractive to potential clients as can be. So yeah, I mean, kind of going into that, we've been talking to our creators quite a lot to kind of expand their horizons and expand their kind of bubble and have a peek outside of crypto. Because yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. And yeah, when crypto gets a little bit slow, it's nice to have something to, kind of fall back on there. Yeah.
Especially if I think the unfortunate thing is, like, during a bull market, it's quite easy to put yourself in a position where you're like fully immersed in the space. And maybe as a creator, that kind of becomes your lifeline. That's where you're making most of your money. You're doing really well. And then suddenly the bear market hits. No one's dropping new products. Everything goes quiet. People are silently building behind closed doors. Those opportunities kind of fall away. So it's important to try and like you said, just like build an audience outside of crypto, find another niche that you enjoy, whether that's mountain biking or photography or whatever.
Building Lego. Lego, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I saw you're building a Harry Potter castle at the moment.
Yeah, it's very, very
Hell
cool.
yeah. That's sick.
And it's things like that. I mean, I'm gonna shout out Gotta here quickly, give him a little glaze. He's kind of been doing this content series where I think it's just been talking about Solana stuff, kind of at the moment, or crypto. But bro actually inspired me to get these meta glasses. These things slap. Not a paid ad, by the way. But yeah, just cooking, doing his thing, talking about stuff. That kind of content, it gets him out there, and he's posting that on all platforms. Definitely go check him out, my boy Goto. But it's content like that. I mean, me building the Lego has nothing to do with crypto, has nothing to do with anything really, besides something that I enjoy doing. Got some cool edits on it. Shout out Halloween for that one. And threw that out everywhere. And it's just something that I enjoy doing outside of crypto, outside of these things. I mean, if you look at my account, yes, there's still crypto stuff, but bro, I talk about this delusional optimism thing. I talk about life maxing. I talk about, these different, these things that are outside of crypto, but can still be kind of crypto adjacent. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys saw Jakey put out the other day that, he's been doing this retard maxing thing. I don't know if we can say that, but I'm going to say it.
Of course he has.
Yeah. So he's been doing this retard maxing thing. It's something he's really, really gotten behind. And he said the other day how he had felt a bit burnt out on kind of crypto content and stuff like that. And he's exploring this new thing, this thing that kind of goes, this broad stroke type of content that a lot more people can kind of get behind. A lot more people can understand and enjoy, and stuff like that. And he said, he's not leaving crypto. And that's the same with me. I'm not leaving. I love crypto, bro. This Solana changed my life. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was a drug addict that had nothing to my name. And now I have some things. Now I'm here on this live stream with you boys. Life changed because of crypto, but there is life outside of this bubble. And our bubble is very, very small. Yes, institutions are bidding. Yes, Sailor is twapping. There's all of these amazing things that are happening. But, they're not to say that the grass is greener, but, there is some grass. There's some grass outside there. So I implore you, take a look. Take a look.
It's good because, like, a lot of these people, I think, I mean, even myself, like, dude, I wasn't creating content before I got into crypto. I mean, even when I first got into crypto, I wasn't creating content, right? But like, if I was to start making content that wasn't revolving around crypto at all, I mean, that wouldn't have been an option before, or I wouldn't have known that was an option, right? So even like a lot of these people that are like came into crypto just trading and have started creating content via crypto now actually have like an option and a lane to continue this lifestyle, but do something a little bit outside of that, right? Which is pretty cool.
100%, bro. So the great thing about content creation in crypto is that it is rather small, and it is quite focused. There's a lot of different verticals that you can go, but they all kind of revolve around a similar sort of theme, or they kind of all sit on blockchain, and you can learn about that, you can create content about that, you get good in those kind of two things. But those skills that you garner in doing that can be taken outside of that to go make content for, I don't know, for Lego on Instagram, or for Min Dynasty is a great example of this. He's been blowing up doing kind of the Pokemon card stuff on Instagram. Yes. And he started out making content on Twitter for crypto projects. You look at Thread Guy with his streams. He started out, not Thread Guy. Don't think he's ever written a thread. But, he started out creating in crypto and is now creating in broader finance. So what crypto, I think, does very, very well, obviously, the financial aspect of it, people can and have made a lot of money, which is fantastic. But when you are kind of serving to a small niche audience, you can obviously garner certain skills and stuff, but you practice delivery in that niche, and kind of, you hone your craft in a small, subset kind of audience, in a small, I'm trying to think of the word. What is it? like a select group. You kind of creating content for the select group. You learn things in there that you can then take to a wider audience, which I think we're going to see. I mean, you saw Ansem and Banks are now doing the market bubble. I think we are going to definitely see a lot more crypto native creators blow out past just our little crypto bubble and go into wider finance or, Pokemon or bro, there's 100 different things that people could kind of go into. But I think, crypto is a very, very good kind of stepping stone to get started. It's also cutthroat. It's small, but there's a lot of competition. And everyone's kind of fighting over. So iron kind of sharpens iron there. So, you're up against, you're up against the best of the best. You're up against all of these different people, and the resources are obviously abundant, but they're quite finite. You're fighting for that marketing dollar. There's not a million different companies that are trying to buy promotional material from creators in crypto. There's, a handful. And I think one thing I did want to talk about quickly, kind of on the back of that, we kind of said that marketing dollars have been a little bit tighter. I think we're seeing a much needed consolidation of the ecosystem because, bro, there was like 400 different launch pads. There was like, everyone, you see something do well, and there's obviously a lot of copycats because, there is potential to kind of get that market share. But we weren't really seeing anything new and innovative. But kind of this consolidation that we're seeing, I think we saw it yesterday, MoonPay acquired DFlow. I think that's their like 6th acquisition in the past 18 months. Kraken has been on an acquisition run. All of the big companies, Phantom as well, all of the very, very big companies are acquiring the smaller companies because, they're trying to become more full stack. They're trying to become a more holistic kind of service provider in whatever they're providing. So we're seeing a consolidation in kind of the wider crypto kind of ecosystem. And normally after a very good consolidation is where you start to see kind of growth and expansion again. So I don't think it's going to be like this for much longer. Obviously, you kind of spoke about bear market, bull, all of those things. I think there's opportunity everywhere. But I think after this kind of consolidation, this M&A kind of season that we've been talking about, we'll see more of that kind of expansion.
Yeah. I wanted to just piggyback off something you said a couple of minutes ago. You were talking about, or we were discussing like opportunities in different areas, and we were talking about how Mint Dynasty has kind of started doing Pokemon content, and Thread guys started doing more broad finance stuff. And I think that's something that I love so much about the Solana ecosystem, is that Solana, you've got all of these different verticals, right? Like, I mean, you've got NFTs, you've got meme coins, you've got the institutional side of things, you've got a bunch of different awesome wallets, you've got Pokemon cards, you've got like, crazy stuff happening with RWAs. There's so many cool things to talk about that are happening on Solana. And Solana is literally the everything chain. There's so much happening on it. So there's no shortage of topics. There's always something to talk about. And I think that's, you just got to kind of pick your lane and find something cool that, maybe is off the cusp a little, like off the beaten track a little bit, something that no one else is talking about that you can become the voice of in a way.
100%. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No, go ahead. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
My bad. I think this is also something that we like to tell our creators. Once you get big enough, it's very easy to talk about lots of different things. When you're kind of more in the infancy, I think niching down is a good thing. Jack of all trades, master of none. Better than being a master of one. That's the kind of the full thing. But I mean, to take it back and to make it a bit more personal, to talk about me, I think where I kind of got my big break was in whatever bear market it was. I dug into kind of just projects on Solana because there weren't that many. There was still a lot, but there weren't that many. So it wasn't this I wasn't talking about thousands of them, but I think I got a good 300 or something in. And I did those threads called Building in the Bear. It was dudes that just didn't give up when, the market sucked. And that was kind of my niche. That's what people knew me for. That's what they came to look at my profile for. That was, they kind of came to expect, that from me. And I think that was a big kind of proponent for my initial growth as a creator, as a kind of a personality and things of that nature. I wasn't trying to talk about everything, but I think I'd got relatively good at talking about a certain thing very well. And that was delivering what a project was doing, and delivering it in a way that was digestible and somewhat fun to read. And that gave me, that opened up a lot of opportunities with projects that were still around then when they grew, further down the line. They were like, oh, you spoke about us when there was like 3 people left, so, we'll kind of give you that shot here. But yeah, there are so many different verticals. You don't need to be the everything man. If you're an aspiring creator, you don't need to be talking about everything, bro. Like, could give a bunch of shout outs here, but I think one of the big ones on Solana at the moment is kind of the DeFi guys. You think of, I'm sure some people come to mind when you think about that. Yeah, Fabi's a great example, but he's kind of niched. Yeah, they've niched into a certain kind of vertical, which is kind of the DeFi airdrops when those are still kind of popping and stuff like that. And they've kind of stuck to those guns, and that's what people have come to expect from them. So yeah, pick a lane. I want to give a quick shout out to Moonraker. He's doing a lot of like the kind of Pokemon collector, the collector stuff like that. That's what he enjoys. That's what he posts content about, and he's one of our creators. But he does that very, very well. That is something he is passionate about. So it doesn't seem like it's it's not a hard shill. He's saying, look what I got. This is cool. So yeah, pick 1 or 2 things. You don't need to solely niche into one specific thing. Pick 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 that you're passionate about, that you want to dive into more, and that you can kind of rise to the top in, because that's another thing. To get to the kind of, let's just call it the big leagues, I think you have to get very good in a particular niche or in a particular vertical or topic. And then, that kind of opens the doors to these bigger kind of opportunities.
Exactly. All right. I think I want to pivot a little bit and chat to you about, obviously you are South African, based in South Africa. I want to chat to you a little bit about your thoughts on the kind of current landscape of crypto in South Africa, but more specifically, your perspective on South African talent in crypto right now, because we had Shipyard earlier this year, which was an amazing event. I got to meet you in person, which was super cool. We've got a lot of great creators, founders, builders, people who are actually doing stuff actively in South Africa. What are kind of your thoughts on the industry in South Africa right now?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for a long time, I didn't think I was the only one, but I thought there was very, very few. I thought it was drastically low. But as of late, I've realized that that's kind of not the case. I think Ange has done a great job kind of bringing the South African community together, kind of, giving people a place to kind of connect. And, Shipyard was another one of those things. AVAX Team 1 is another one of those things. I know Blockfest just happened or is happening this week in Cape Town, which is very, very cool. But yeah, I mean, going back a little bit, shout out Ellie. He was one of the first guys that kind of found that was South African. He's helped me. Yeah. Big shout out Ellie. He's helped me, in numerous ways, kind of traversing this journey. But coming across him and him being geographically available made kind of garnering and cultivating that relationship, a hell of a lot easier. And I think that's something that we lack here, that you see kind of elsewhere, is this kind of community and kind of togetherness and people kind of striving towards the same goals. It's quite compartmentalized. It's quite a big place. You've got Cape Town, you've got Joburg, you've got all of these different areas, and people are quite segmented there. So I think that's been one of our biggest issues, as up until this point. I think those barriers are kind of being broken down now, which is fantastic. I think there's a lot of talent that is here that is rearing to go. I think one of the biggest issues currently is the talent is lacking a direction. And I think that comes from, all of our legislation that crypto bill the other day that was preposterous.
Oh my God. Horrendous.
Absolutely terrible. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that are kind of stepping on the neck of people that want to pursue crypto in South Africa at the moment. But I do think that is kind of that tide and that sentiment is changing. I think another one of the biggest things that is an issue is, I spoke about this in one of the articles as well, is from some of the founders and stuff that I've spoken to in South Africa, everyone wants to kind of make this fantastic product, this thing that's going to change the game. And obviously that's what everyone wants to do. But they kind of don't really focus on what somewhat matters more than an amazing product is getting it into people's hands, getting users, distributing it, and kind of bring it back on, the distribution maxing and stuff like that. There's a metaphor that I like, there's a saying that I like to use. If the tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, didn't make a sound. You can have a fantastic, fantastic product, game changer. If no one knows about it, if no one's using it, it does not matter. Your product is worth that much.
Exactly.
So I think that's one of the biggest things is we have a lot of really talented devs. We've got a lot of really talented teams. I think they're lacking kind of direction and the foresight needed to kind of get through that initial, over that initial hump. But I do think those things are changing. I think more resources and stuff are being kind of poured into South Africa from, these different foundations, these different teams, these different initiatives. And I think we're going to see kind of a tide turn there quite soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, if you're in South Africa,
God, are
cool
you
shit.
still there? I lost Digi for a second. Can you guys hear me still? Everything all good?
I can hear
everybody.
Okay. I think we're back. I don't know what happened there.
I think it just might have been you.
Oh, maybe it was my connection dropped for a little bit there. Digi, can you hear me okay?
All good. I still got you. And I can hear Goddard as well.
All right. Amazing. Okay, great. Well, yeah, I think to kind of wrap things up for the day, what would be your one piece of advice you would give to someone who is a relatively new creator who's just entering the space and who wants to kind of like build a name for themselves? What would be like your one piece of advice?
So I've had a couple of things that I've said over the years. I think one of, if not the most important thing when it comes to creating anything or just kind of being in crypto in general is consistency. And I know it sounds cliche and I know it sounds, whatever, but simply showing up and attempting and trying and putting out that piece of content, even if it sucks to start, simply showing up and trying, you are putting yourself ahead of 75% of people, because there's this kind of innate or kind of primal thing that people have where they have this fear of what people will think of them. And that is paralyzing, and that stops them from putting out the content, that stops them from taking the leap, that stops them from asking for, whatever they're kind of looking for. So simply showing up, being consistent, and ruthless effort, I think, is another big one. Trying will never betray you. Putting the effort in, giving it a go. So yeah, I would say, I think the two big, let's just go with the three. Let me be on brand here. Consistency, ruthless effort, and delusional optimism. Bro, why would you focus on what could go wrong when you can focus on what could go right? Why look at the glass half empty when it could be half full. And that doesn't mean, thinking everything is hunky-dory and fairy tales and fugazi and stuff like that. But, putting your focus on the positive rather than the negative has been an absolute game changer for me. And especially with regards to content, because I said to you guys before when we started, I said, I was nervous. I was nervous to kind of hop on here. What was there to be nervous about? I'm here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about my business. I'm here to talk about my experience. These are things that are mine. If people don't like it or whatever, I don't care. If you don't like me, that's cool. Block me. It really is that simple. And I know it's easier said than done, but yeah, those would probably be my three things. Just show up, try, and kind of focus on the positive.
For sure. I love that, man. Yeah, I think you mentioned the whole delusional optimism thing to me at the beginning, and it's funny because in my younger years, obviously, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I DJ as well. That's one of the main kind of things that I do. You can see I've got my custom branded headphones here.
There we go. There we go.
And I mean, I've literally played main stage Ultra South Africa. I've performed with Avicii, Martin Garrix, Armin van Buuren, some of the top 100 DJs in the world. And the reason I was able to do that is because I had delusional optimism. I believed that I could fucking do it. When I heard Avicii was coming to South Africa, I didn't just get booked for that show. I first of all reached out to to the people who were bringing him, to the kind of tour operators. Anything Goes, that was the company's name. And they said, no, unfortunately, we can't book you directly. Sorry, I spoke to his management first. Then his management sent me to the tour operators, and they said, we aren't booking anyone just yet, but we'll reach out when we are. Next thing I know, they launch a DJ competition. So I was like, okay, well, I could win this. Let me enter. So I entered, I made the first stage, made the second stage, got to the final phase, and then I won the competition for the Cape Town leg of the tour. And it's because I believed that I could do it that it actually ended up happening. If I didn't believe in the first place, and I had been like, oh, there's no ways, there's going to be thousands of participants. Like, don't tell yourself why you can't do something. Tell yourself why you can do something.
Stop asking why me and start asking why not me.
That's exactly. It. Absolutely, man. So yeah, I think that's a great note to end on. Be a delusional optimist.
I got it tattooed on my leg, bro. Like, that is how much I believe in this thing. That is how much this changed my life. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can get it in here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The camera's a bit... Wait, let me see if I can zoom it in here. Give me 1 second. Come on.
There we go. A little bit higher.
Yeah, it says it here. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, man, I believe in that. And it changed my life, like, entirely.
Amazing. Well, Digi, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today, man. Obviously, if anyone wants to reach out regarding campaigns or go-to-market, he's the man to speak to. You can also chat to Pat or Orange. But yeah, it's been great having you on today, man. Thanks so much for making the time. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, lads. It's been a great chat. Thank you so much. And yeah, man, we should do it. We should do it again sometime. I know I spoke a lot about me and not as much about Eyekon. So maybe we need to do a part 2 where I don't talk about me. Sorry.
I'm sure we can make that happen at some point, man. Take care of yourself. And thanks, Gotto, as well. And obviously to everyone in the audience. Love you guys. Much appreciated. Take care. And we will see you next week, Monday. We've got a very special stream happening next week, Monday. And you'll be hearing more about that in the next couple of days. But until then, take care. Much love. And be delusionally optimistic.
Amen.
Let's go. Appreciate you, boys.